Welcome to Meeple Mentor. I'm Jared, and we're about to play Philosophia, Dare to be Wise. Let's take a look. I'll show you how. Feel free to pause the video as needed to follow along with your copy of the game. Make sure to like and subscribe below the video so you don't miss any of my latest content. Philosophia, Dare to be Wise is set in ancient Greece during the time of history's greatest thinkers. In this game, players will get to be philosophers like Socrates or Plato, attempting to gain followers and build schools around Greece. There are 6 historical figures represented in the game. You'll need to gain money to build schools by tutoring new students in your philosophy. Visit the Acropolis to engage in friendly debate with the other philosophers, using both sophistry arguments and syllogisms. All of this is handled in-game through card play, so don't worry if you're not as well versed in rhetoric or logical fallacies. The game proceeds through a timeline which moves according to players' actions. Everybody is trying to earn labyrinth tokens by doing a variety of actions in the game. Once someone has reached 3 labyrinth tokens, they may increase the time marker to the final time period. Then a final debate happens between all of the players who have collected 3 labyrinth tokens. Whoever wins the debate will win the game. Start by laying out the game board in the middle of the table for the correct number of players. The player count is shown in the bottom left corner. Shuffle the sophistry and syllogism cards and place them on their spaces shown on the left side of the board. Separate the oracle cards into their own decks and place them next to the board. They'll be Delphi, Dodona, and Trophonius oracle decks, and won't need to be shuffled. Shuffle the large Athena discs and place them in a face-up pile in its space on the board. Create general supply piles near the board for various tokens. You'll have coins for money, study tokens, winning debate tokens, sophist tokens, builder tokens, and labyrinth tokens. Separate the numbered labyrinth tokens from the regular ones. Place the hourglass token on the space on the far left of the timeline. It says 1194 BC. Shuffle the Olympic request cards and deal 1 to each player. These should be kept secret. The rest of them can return to the box. Give each player the 2 game reference cards. Let each player now choose a philosopher to be. There are 6 choices: Aristotle, Heraclitus, Homer, Plato, Socrates, and Sophocles. Homer and Sophocles are better known as authors or playwrights, but their influence on Greek thought and insights into the human condition have lasted just as long as their philosopher contemporaries. Take your chosen person's player board, miniature, and wooden tokens. Place the color cubes and school tokens on their indicated spots on your player board. Take a moment to read your philosopher's special ability. Take the 3 wisdom cards for your character and set them near your player board with the red locked padlock side face up. Everyone should place their character's miniature on their starting location on the main board. The player boards say where they each start. Take the colored location tokens and shuffle each color face down. They have bonuses shown on one side. Place tokens face down on the circle spaces around the board with the color matching the token. Don't add any to the 4 Acropolis locations. Also, don't place any location tokens where players' miniatures start. Each player board also shows what starting resources to collect. Everyone's starting resources are different, and everyone can collect them now. The player who most recently had a philosophical debate will be the start player, or you can decide randomly. The start player gets the first turn of the game, followed by everyone in clockwise order until the game ends. On your turn, you must move to an unoccupied location and take 1 action. If another player's miniature is there, you may not go there. When moving, you can go to any location regardless of distance. You may even go to one of the 4 Acropolis locations. You may stay in the Acropolis but must still move to a different spot. If you move to a location where another player's school is, you must pay them 1 drachma. If you don't have one, then you don't have to pay it. When you move to a location with a disc on it, pick it up and look at its bonus. You may either immediately take the shown bonus and return the disc back to your location face down, or you may forfeit the bonus and keep the token on your player board. After moving and dealing with the location discs, you must do one action. There are 7 standard actions that you may do anywhere but the Acropolis. Additionally, there's a unique action available at temples and oracles. The 4 Acropolis locations each have their own unique action. The other actions are not available there. After completing your action, your turn is over. Proceed to the next player clockwise. Let's take a look at the 7 standard actions possible anywhere on the board, except in the Acropolis. Many of the actions you can do will eventually let you gain a labyrinth token. The tutor action lets you gain money, which is known as drachma. The coins are based on what was used in ancient Greece. Each head symbol is worth 1 drachma. Each owl symbol is worth 5 drachma. A single tutor action gives you 1 drachma plus 1 for each unlocked wisdom card that you have. At the start of the game, all 3 are locked. If you had 2 unlocked and tutored, you will gain 3 drachma. You may choose to create a following at your location with this action. Remove a follower cube from your board and place it on your location. It's free to do, but you may never have more than 1 of your followers at a single location. If you don't have any followers left on your board, you can't do the action either. Opponents may have their follower cube there as well. By completely emptying your followers from your board, you are qualified to take a labyrinth token for it. But I'll explain that in a bit. Before you can get your schools on the board, you have to hire builders. As an action, you can spend 2 drachma to the supply to take 1 builder token. You may hold a max of 4 builder tokens at a time. You may choose to build a school at your location if you have a builder token. Spend 1 builder token to place one of your schools at your current location. Only 1 school of any color can be at a given location. So if an opponent has a school there, you can't build one. By building all 4 of your schools on the board, you're eligible to collect another labyrinth token. Whenever an opponent enters a location where your school is, they must pay you 1 drachma. If they didn't have the money, they don't have to pay. Sophists were street debaters known to draw a crowd and sell cheap argumentative rhetoric. They were convincing to the uneducated or to those without critical thinking. Under scrutiny, their arguments would fall apart. The real philosophers of the day hated them and described them as selling fake wisdom for money. The sophist tokens in the game will let you convert followers. To gain a sophist, spend 1 coin and take the sophist token. If there are none available in the supply, you may not gain a sophist. You can use a sophist to convert followers of another philosopher to your own. As long as you don't already have one of your followers here, you may spend a sophist token to remove an opponent's follower cube and add one of your own. The opponent's follower is returned to their player board. The last of the standard actions is to collect a labyrinth token. You must have satisfied one of the ways to earn one at the time of taking this action. So to be clear, simply being eligible for it doesn't give it to you. You must collect the labyrinth token as a separate standalone action. Should you lose the eligibility for it by the time you're able to take this action, you can't do it. Even if you're eligible for multiple ways to earn one, you may only earn 1 token per action. If you collect the token and later lose the eligibility for it, you still keep the token. Once earned, you never lose it. You should declare which criteria you're completing, as each one can only be earned once. You may only earn 3 labyrinth tokens during the game, which will qualify you to win the game. The first 2 tokens gained should be the regular labyrinth tokens. The third one must be a numbered token, which will break ties in the final debate. Take the lowest numbered labyrinth token available when earning your third one. There are 7 ways to gain labyrinth tokens during the game. Each one may only be done once per player. Once you've placed all 9 of your follower cubes on the board, you qualify for a labyrinth token. You must still be qualified by the time you take the collect labyrinth token action. You may have all 4 of your schools placed on the map. This qualifies you as well. When you move to new locations and decide to take the location disc instead of receiving the bonus, you'll add it to your player board. If you can gain all 5 colors of location discs, you qualify for a labyrinth token based on your travels. Should you engage in a public debate in the Acropolis and win, you'll gain a winning debate token. If you have 3 collected, you qualify for a labyrinth token. If you win against an opponent who challenged you from the Acropolis, you still gain a winning debate token. I'll explain that more in a bit. If you've studied and gained enough wisdom, you can also gain a labyrinth token. By unlocking all 3 of your wisdom cards, you become eligible. Each of the 3 oracle decks has a favor of the oracle card in it. If you can collect all 3, you can gain a labyrinth token. And there's a special Athena offering disc that could come out in the game that would give you a fourth chance to gain one. Either way, you need 3 to qualify for this. The final way can give you all 3 Labyrinth tokens in one go. Each of the Olympic request cards dealt to players at the beginning of the game have their own unique requirements. If you've collected or done whatever is shown, you can collect all 3 Labyrinth tokens in a single action. If you've already collected some, just take as many as you need to get to your third one. As an example, the Poseidon request requires you to collect 3 blue port location discs, 12 drachma, and have placed on the board 9 followers and 4 schools. Of course, the requirement shown on the card is only the minimum. You can have more than what's asked, but you must have all of what's shown. The special actions are special because they're limited to being done at specific locations. The 3 temple locations on the map are outlined in red. Temples let you develop your ideas while in a tranquil, calm space. At any temple, you may take the study action to symbolize the time spent reflecting on life's great mysteries. Your first study action will be to take a study token. Spend 4 drachma to take a study token. You may only have 1 token of these at a time. When you study at the temple again, turn in the study token to unlock one of your wisdom cards by flipping it over. You can read up on the wisdom card to learn real philosophy, but it doesn't affect gameplay, so it doesn't matter which wisdom card you unlock. Having more wisdom cards unlocked gives you more money when tutoring, as well as provides you criteria to earn a Labyrinth token. The oracle locations on the map are outlined in green. Oracles were known to give wisdom and prophecies. There are 3 oracle locations on the map, corresponding to the 3 decks of oracle cards set aside at the beginning of the game. You may take an action at these oracles to collect an oracle card from their respective deck. When taking the action, pick up all the cards in the deck for that oracle and choose one to keep. Once you've selected an oracle card from a location, you may never gain another one from the same location, so each player can have at maximum 3 oracle cards throughout the game. Each oracle deck has a special Favor of the Oracles card, and by gaining all 3, you qualify for a Labyrinth token. Unless otherwise stated, oracle cards may be kept until the player chooses to play it. Playing an oracle card doesn't take an action and can be done generally any time, or as specified on the card. Each will typically have an icon and text to explain its power. The Oracle of Trophonius has many Take That type cards that hurt opponents. The top left shaded area of the game board is known as the Acropolis. Any player can move to and from the Acropolis like any location. You can move between locations inside the Acropolis too. Each location here offers 1 special action. When in the Acropolis, you may not take any standard actions, so no followers or schools may ever be placed here. In ancient Greece, the Acropolis in Athens was frequented by philosophers like Socrates who spent time in debate with people. It was a public forum and the center for the exchange of ideas. This icon is the location for the Observe the Debater's action. To symbolize the knowledge gained by listening to philosophers debate, you will gain either 2 sophistry cards or 1 syllogism card off the top of their decks. These cards are used in debates against other players, especially during the final debate at the end of the game. If there are no cards remaining, you may not take this action. It's recommended to keep your hand of cards hidden during the game, as it builds tension and excitement during each debate. While on the hourglass icon's location, you may move forward through the timeline of ancient Greece. Taking the action lets you move the hourglass token 1 space to the right on its timeline track. The game will immediately end if the hourglass is moved to the 146 BC final space. However, for a player to move it from 399 to 146, they must have collected 3 Labyrinth tokens. Athena was the Greek goddess of wisdom and protector of Athens. Among the Greek gods, she was the favored god of the philosophers. The icon at her location is an image of her face. By offering money to her, players will gain a large one-time benefit. Taking this special action starts an auction for an Athena disc. The one at the top of the stack is the disc to be auctioned by default. However, the player triggering the auction can choose to remove the top disc and put it on the bottom of the stack and auction the newly revealed top disc. No one may look at the discs in the stack, so it's a blind decision. Each player secretly places an amount of drachma from their collected money into their hand. Players are allowed to discuss and make deals during this bid, but no deal is required to be followed through. Everyone places their closed fist of coins into the center of the table and reveals at the same time how much they bid. The highest bidding player pays the money to the supply and gains the Athena disc reward immediately. Players who bid money and lost the bid keep their money. In a tie with the initiating player, that player wins. If a tie not involving the initiating player, no one wins the disc and everyone keeps their money. Either way, the disc is placed at the bottom of the stack to reveal a new one on top. The icon with the measuring scales is the location space for debating. Here you may initiate a public debate to prove your ideas are superior to the other philosophers. When taking the action, choose an opponent to debate. They may not refuse the challenge. They'll play cards against each other in rounds until both pass. The debate uses the sophistry and syllogism cards. Each card's argument has its Latin name in the middle, as it's known. The top of the cards show which type of argument they're beaten by. The syllogism cards also show which type of arguments it beats. The syllogisms are all color-coded in circles, while the sophistry cards are colorless and rectangular. To take the action, the initiating player must play either a sophistry card or syllogism card face up between them. The challenged player can choose to end the debate and lose, or play a card to continue the debate. Compare the two cards to see who won the round. Sophistry cards are always beaten by syllogism cards, which are the stronger arguments. The winner of the round collects the cards played into a temporary discard pile. If both cards are sophistry cards, the round is a tie. Both players take their card back and place it in their temporary discard pile. As long as the challenged player didn't immediately end the debate, then after the first round, they'll get to play the first card in the next round. The first player to play a card in the debate alternates back and forth. Once a player passes, they no longer participate in playing cards. The other player may add any sophistry or syllogism cards they want at that point straight to their temporary discard pile. Whoever has the most cards collected in their temporary pile will win the whole debate and gain a winning debate token. In a tie for collected cards, the initiating player wins. Some oracle cards can also be used during a debate. After the debate, shuffle all the cards from both temporary discard piles into their respective decks. Used oracle cards will go to the game box. Each philosopher has a special ability shown on their player board. These abilities may break and override the rulebook's standard rules. Aristotle's ability lets him earn an extra coin when tutoring. Plato does not have to pay an opponent when entering a location with their school there. Heraclitus may gain 2 oracle cards from Trophonius. Normally each player may only have 1 from each oracle, but he can take the action there twice. Socrates cannot gain sophistry cards in the Acropolis, as he famously hated them. When he takes the Observe the Debaters action, he takes 2 syllogism cards instead. Homer does not have to be in the Acropolis to take the Observe the Debaters action, and may do it as his action anywhere on the board. When Sophocles moves to a western city location on the map with a black location disc, he may take the location's bonus and choose to keep the disc on his player board. This is not normally allowed, but he breaks this rule. The end of the game happens when the hourglass token moves to the final space of the timeline track. The Progress the Timeline action must be taken enough times to get it to the end. Only a player who has collected 3 labyrinth tokens can move the hourglass to the final space. If they're the only player who's collected 3, they win the game immediately. After moving the hourglass, the game ends immediately. No one takes any more turns. But if other players also have 3 labyrinth tokens, those players all engage in a final public debate. Before the final debate, each participating player may spend coins to purchase more sophistry and syllogism cards. Given the money situation and the amount of cards left in each deck, you may choose to force players to buy 1 at a time. Start with the player who collected the number 1 labyrinth token and go clockwise. If the cards run out, they may not be purchased. Each sophistry card is 1 coin, and each syllogism card costs 2 coins. The final debate may involve more than 2 players, so there are some changes to apply to this final debate. The player who has the highest numbered labyrinth token goes first and challenges the second highest labyrinth token. Resolve the round normally. The next round will be the second highest token challenging the third highest token, and so on. After the number 2 token player challenges the number 1 token player, the number 1 token player then challenges the one who has the highest numbered token. The cycle goes around like this until all players have passed. Also, once a player passes, they leave the debate circle. Remaining players continue like they're not there. If the final player to pass still has cards to play, they may play them directly to their temporary discard pile. Whoever has the most cards in their temporary discard pile will be the winner. If there's a tie, whoever has the lowest numbered labyrinth token breaks the tie and wins. The solo game mode is played against an AI opponent named the Morai Philosopher. Its actions are controlled by a shuffled deck of Morai cards. The Morai in Greek mythology were the Fates. The goddesses Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos controlled the life and destiny of everyone. Using threads as an analogy for a person's life, one goddess spun the thread, another measured it, and the last would cut it. This represented a person's birth, life, and death. When playing solo, set up the game as normal for a 2-player game. Choose any other philosopher to be the Morai Philosopher, ignoring their special ability. Remove the following Athena discs from the game: Athena's Influence, Contemplation, Delphic Influence, Dodonic Influence, Trophonic Influence, the Architects, and Unknown Oracle. Instead of giving the AI opponent the starting resources shown on any player board, give them the following items: the Oracle of Trophonius Location Disc, Olympia Location Disc, 1 coin, and 1 Sophistry card. The location discs can sit on his player board. Remove the 3 Favors of the Oracle's cards from each of the Oracle decks. They won't be used. Collect the Morai cards and set aside the 1 double-sided card. Shuffle the rest together into a face-down deck. Each Morai card shows the location on the map where he will move to with 3 difficulty levels. Choose to play with the easy, medium, or hard difficulty. The green box describes the easy mode, known as Nu. The yellow box is the medium difficulty, known as Logos, and the red box is the hard difficulty, known as Sophia. Nu means intuition. Logos is the level of reason, and Sophia is the highest level of knowledge, meaning wisdom. Whichever difficulty you choose, only apply the actions from the corresponding color with each card played. The human player goes first. On the Morai's turn, flip over the top card from the deck. Move his philosopher to the printed location. If he can't move there for any reason, such as your own philosopher already being there, then discard the card and draw a new one. After moving, if there's a location token there, flip a coin to determine how he handles it. If heads, he collects the token to his board. If tails, give him the bonus and replace the disc. Then execute the printed action in the box for the difficulty level chosen. Create a discard pile for his cards. When the draw pile is empty, reshuffle the discard pile. If a card says to place a follower or school in any free location, the human player gets to choose where it goes on the board. Once the Morai player has qualified for a labyrinth token, their next turn will be spent gaining the token. Still draw a card on that turn, but only apply as movement, not the actions in the boxes. Like you, he cannot gain a labyrinth token twice for the same criteria. When he gains his 3rd labyrinth token, do not use the deck anymore. Instead, use the set-aside double-sided Morai card. He'll start on the wingless victory side. For all his turns going forward, flip the card over each time and do what it says. Whenever a bid for an Athena disc occurs, you bid your own amount first. Then flip over the top Sophistry card and look in the lower right corner. It will indicate either 0, all, 1/4, or half. This is the amount he will bid. The fractions amount of his collected coins should round up. He can only bid coins he's collected. To handle a public debate with Morai, the human player always plays the first card in the first round. After you play a card, look through Morai's collected cards. You must play any card that would beat yours. If multiple could beat yours, select the one closest to the top of his stack of collected cards. When Morai starts a round with a card, he always chooses a Sophistry card if available, the one closest to the top of the stack. If he has no Sophistry cards, then he'll choose the top card of his stack. He continues a debate until he runs out of cards or he's played enough to beat you. The first variant is a quick one, but an easy change. When a player moves the hourglass token to the final space of the track, don't end the game immediately. Instead, finish the round of turns so every player has had an equal number of turns. For this, you'll need to remember who was the starting player at the beginning of the game. You could use an unused player color cube to mark the original start player if you like. This variant involves learning and practicing the wisdom gained throughout the game. It's designed to start to teach you a basic understanding of propositional logic and common logical fallacies. This is a very tough variant and makes the game harder and last longer. Doing it may also affect the balance of the game, as someone more experienced or knowledgeable about philosophy has a definite advantage. The first rule change is known as the Prove Your Knowledge rule. If you try to claim the Labyrinth token for unlocking your 3 wisdom cards, you must first be able to prove you've learned them. Give all your wisdom cards to an opponent and have them hold them so that the unlocked side is hidden. You must successfully summarize each of the cards. The opponent must decide if your summary is accurate enough. If so, you collect the token as normal. If not, gain a coin and take your wisdom cards back. You'll have more time to study them and try again on your next turn. Since the cards are the same, if you want to include your own wisdom cards to the mix, you may. The second big rule change in the True Philosopher variant is during a debate you should actually do a real debate. The initiating player should choose a topic to debate that has a for and against position. It could be anything, such as cell phones should be used at the table when playing board games. The starting player will argue for, and the challenged player will argue against. When you play a card, you must read it carefully to understand how it's used. Then you must create your own statement in the form of the argument card being played. For example, let's say the topic is people should wear seatbelts. The initiating player plays a sophistry card first called Argumentatum ad Misericordiam. So they should say something like, think of how many people would be killed if you removed seatbelts. The opponent responds to it with a modus tollens syllogism card. They'll say, if seatbelts were good, they would save every person in an accident. But lots of people are still injured or killed when wearing a seatbelt. Therefore, seatbelts aren't good. Adding this rule into the game makes it more interesting, but dramatically increases the playtime. Keep the rulebook handy and check BoardGameGeek.com for FAQs and extra content. Check the video description for links to Top Shelf Gamer for token upgrades, SleeveKings.com for a 10% off coupon on card sleeves, and Mr. Meeple t-shirts for cool board gaming shirts. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you found this teaching helpful. Stick around to watch another Learn to Play video. And remember, teach when you can, but always be learning. See you next time.